Welcome to the Oculus Halftime.
It's halftime of Game 6 of the NBA Finals, and how about this? The Lakers have a 28-point lead on top of the Heat. Maria Taylor alongside Uncle Pete, Paul Pierce. We got Jalen Rose, we got Jay Will, and we've got a huge domination by the Lakers. Let's talk about it. How have they been able to accomplish it in the first half?
And it starts in the paint, in particular scoring the basketball and also rebounding the basketball and defending it if you're the Los Angeles Lakers. And that's where they've been dominant. The Miami Heat have 36 total points. The Lakers have 34 points in the paint. They're not settling. You take Dwight Howard out of the starting lineup, it opens up the floor. Now Rondo has room to drive. The Los Angeles Lakers are going to be crowned tonight, Jay Will.
I love seeing LeBron James come out early and just punish people. Punish people, bully basketball. He has a damn near triple-double in the first half. And also on the opposite side, Jimmy Butler, you know he's played now 70 minutes in the last 6 quarters out of 72 minutes.
Yeah.
Just has no legs, really can't sustain that type of energy to help his team.
Yeah, the Lakers came out with tremendous energy, I thought, from the jump. And that's the one thing that stood out. Not having Dwight Howard really opened up lanes for LeBron and Rondo. What more can you say about playoff Rondo tonight, giving them a big spark off the bench, something that they desperately needed. He's driving the ball. He's doing a great job and causing havoc getting into the lane. And this is the Lakers championship. Congratulations, Rondo, on your second championship.
How about this?
And I don't want this to define the Miami Heat because they play with a level of toughness and discipline. But the Lakers are just in a different weight class.
And you said that at the beginning of this series, but it seems like this game's completely different, Jay.
Absolutely, it's totally different because the Lakers are dialed in, especially at the end of the last game and how they unfortunately lost late.
Well, you see it right there. This 28 points is the second largest halftime lead we've seen in finals history.
Wow. What was the first?
Matt, tell us now.
No Miami Heat player has 10 points. There's a level of fatigue there with Jimmy Butler as well.
There you go. It was the 1985 Celtics and Lakers. There you go.
There you go.
I was going to tell you.
That's called the Valentine's Day Massacre.
No, I was going to tell you that because I knew that.
Of course, Jimmy likes his chances. He's first to Game 6 with the Lakers, and right now they're riding high. We all sat in here and we watched the last possession of Game 5. I had it on my Instagram story. It was really exciting. Everyone was hyped. And we waited to see who would take the last shot. We saw LeBron James drive, dish it out to Danny Green, and obviously it was a wide open miss. What do you expect to see in a late game situation tonight? If we're with the same situation.
Jay Will had his Twitter fingers that night.
What happens?
I feel like in the big scheme of the game, one shot doesn't win or lose a game. But one shot can also win a game. And I know a lot of people were out there saying, well, he made the right play. I'll give you 5 or 6 examples throughout the course of the game where LeBron James didn't make the right play. He just bulldozed his way to the bucket and scored, right? So everybody's behind him when he does it. Yeah, kill, that's what we want. Destroy, be aggressive. But then all of a sudden in the game, at points, like, well, he made the right play. All I'm saying is, Mamba jerseys were on, invoking Mamba, the first Laker championship, 40-point triple-double, okay? It's 3-1. I know Danny Green was open. I know it was the right play. But sometimes I want to see LeBron make the play. Make the play down the stretch. Now, if they win this game, nobody cares about it.
What do you mean he made the play? You mean take the shot?
Take the shot, Paul. Take the drive to the rack. Or take the fadeaway. Sometimes maybe a fadeaway over 2 or 3 players. I'd much rather see that than a wide open shot with the way Danny Green was playing, wide open. I'm just saying.
What do you think, P? You got more game winners than Michael Jordan.
I don't question LeBron's intelligence on the court and the plays that he makes. But to me, if you're the best player on the planet, and if I'm coaching you, I'm taking a shot with you taking that shot over 2 or 3 defenders because you're that great. And I'm going to live with that. I'm going to live with it. We've seen it. What makes great players great? They take and make bad shots. I'm telling you, all the time. And so I'm living with it. If LeBron had a drove right and threw a running hook off the glass over 3 defenders and missed, I'm a coach like, I'm going to live with that. It's coming from my best player.
Yeah. It's interesting because people want to always make the comparison to Michael Jordan in that situation. And what was the evolution in Michael Jordan's career that eventually helped him win multiple championships? Trusting his teammates. You think of the NBA Finals, you think the pass to John Paxson in Phoenix, the pass to Steve Kerr to win another title. I think you look at a guy like Danny Green, who waited in free agency, took the chance of costing himself a lot of money. If Kawhi Leonard had gone to the Lakers, he was out of a spot. He kept waiting and waiting. When Kawhi went to the Clippers, then there was an opportunity for him to go to the Lakers. LeBron knew he was doing that. He saw him make those shots in San Antonio, win titles. win a championship in Toronto. LeBron's going to default to that with players like Danny Green who come to play with him up 3-1 in a series. I understand why he makes the pass there.
So, youngins,
yes,
when we disagree with you, we're not jealous, we're not hating, we're not salty. It's just that we got a chance to see both people, and in my case, play against both people when you talk about the greatest of all time conversation. Usually, the goal of the best player, in LeBron James' case, is to make everybody around you better. But the best player used to make it easier for everybody else. So many times I'm sitting in the huddle with Reggie Miller, and I'm like, he's shooting it. And if he don't shoot it, then he's going to pass it. Miami Heat scouting report, Eric Spoelstra coached LeBron, and he didn't pass Paxson that ball. That was Horace Grant. And he was on the post. He wasn't facing like he was doing against Horace Grant. Like he was doing against Byron Russell. Jimmy Butler actually bullied LeBron, made him turn his back. And then he called for the pick. And when LeBron James is driving right, everybody, he pulls up and shoots the ball and makes it 3% of the time.
Scouting report.
3. So they knew once he got closer to the basket, he was going to pass it. And Danny Green is not the shooter that Steve Kerr is in this year's playoffs. So LeBron James isn't all-time great. But when I have the conversation about greatest of all time, the thing I love about Michael Jordan is he's going to steal the ball from Karl Malone, he's going to cross over Byron Russell, and he's going to make the game-winning shot.
We will be here at half.
Welcome to NBA Countdown, presented by DoorDash.
And welcome to NBA Countdown live from the Seaport District at Pier 17, brought to you by Chase. Maria Taylor alongside Paul Pierce, Adrian Wojnarowski. We got Jay Williams and we got Jalen Rose. And let's get this straight. LeBron James will be the 4th player to win 4 titles and 4 regular season MVPs. Because as you mentioned, your Mount Rushmore is building and LeBron's working on that legacy. But guys, we got to start by talking about Jimmy Butler and what he's been able to do. Last 4 games, he's averaging a 30-point triple-double and he has been delivering. Let's take a look at who's delivering, presented by DoorDash. The Lakers have not found an answer for Jimmy B, and in the last 4 games, he scored or assisted on 240 points. That's the 2nd most in any 4-game span in a single final series all time, trailing only LeBron James in 2017. But one thing you have to know is that he played all but 48 seconds in Game 5, so it's a lot to ask in Game 6 to be able to do the same thing. Do you think he'll be able to do it, Paul?
Absolutely. It's about mind and body. You tell your mind you can do it, your body's going to follow. And Jimmy is one of the most mentally tough players that we've seen. He's proven it night in and night out on this big stage.
And it's just not basketball. Think about a lot of who you are off the court factors into who you are on the court. He was homeless, went to a JUCO school, faxed his letter of intent to Marquette from a McDonald's. Draft position with the Chicago Bulls, earns his way to become a superstar. His whole life, he's been comfortable in chaos. And I think, once again, that's for him tonight.
McDonald's got great fries. But so he might have to change his nickname because he's getting rebounds, leading them in assists, he's leading them in blocks, he's leading them in steals. But I'm going to keep stressing it. If they're going to win, we need Jimmy buckets, tough ones in particular. In the 4th quarter in the previous game, we were all watching it. And when the Heat called timeout, we knew who was going to shoot the ball when they came out of a timeout.
We did.
He would make sure that he was set, reset, fake, pump fake, do whatever he had to do to make a tough basket. And if he's in that mind state, that's going to be problems for the Lakers.
And now Jimmy Butler has some more help tonight. Goran Dragic is active. He decided in the last hour that he's going to try to play on that injured left foot. I'm told that that plantar fascia tear can't get worse by Dragic playing. We'll see, I think, very quickly in the game. Eric Spoelstra will be able to see how much he can get out of Dragic, who had trouble going side to side earlier in the series. And I'm told still in a great deal of pain. And, Dragic and Jimmy Butler, they built a great relationship in this season there. And, Dragic told me in the bubble about Jimmy Butler. He heard all the questions about him as a teammate. And what he saw with Butler in Miami, as opposed to whether it was Chicago, Minnesota, Philadelphia, was a guy who absolutely had a tremendous will to win. He said to me, everybody needs to be vulnerable. Everybody needs to be able to accept criticism. And that's what Jimmy Butler gives you. They've loved playing with him. And I think having Dragic back on the court for whatever he can give Miami tonight, That's a great mental boost for Jimmy Butler.
See, Goran Dragic exemplifies Miami Heat culture. He led them in scoring throughout the Eastern Conference playoffs. In the previous game, they had 2 undrafted players. Duncan Robinson and Nunn both put up big numbers. Undrafted players. So if he could get that level of support and Dragic can give him anything, it'd be a great boost for the Heat.
Well, we always like to say, remember their one top 10 pick is who? Andre Iguodala. And that's what sums up this Miami Heat team and their will to win. They have already forced a Game 6, and they don't expect to go home anytime.
To Orlando, where you can see players warming up behind us for Game 6. I am Rachel Nichols. I am here with Richard Jefferson. And RJ, we saw Jimmy Butler with a 40-point triple-double and a 35-point triple-double in the Heat's 2 wins in this series. Do you think he can do that again, and is he going to have to if they're going to keep this series going?
Well, this is going to be a quicker turnover, you know, with just one day in between, but that's what they need. In the 2 wins, that's what he has done. And so I'd like to believe that in order for them to continue on this run that they've had, he's going to have to put up numbers like that. But don't forget the contributions of guys like Duncan Robinson, Bam Adebayo. So it wasn't just Jimmy just dominating out there. It was really a lot of guys contributing from a lot of different areas.
I asked him just a few minutes ago how much sleep he got between then and tonight. He didn't exactly answer me, Richard, but he did tell me that he was drinking his Big Face coffee on the way to the arena, and he said that you and I should plan on being here through a Game 7. So that tells you his mindset as well. When we go over to the Lakers side, you've played in 4 NBA Finals, but the last one was with LeBron James with the Cavaliers. What is LeBron like with the team in the locker room before a big game like this?
Well, it's a combination of hype and calm, right? He wants to make sure that everybody has the right type of energy, the right type of mindset. You know, we saw the internet just going crazy on Danny Green and Morris, and he's like, hey, we're going to live with that. That is a leader instilling confidence in his players. Is like, hey, we still got more to do. But the other part about it is that he wants to make sure that everyone is relaxed out on the floor. He is one of the guys that says, hey, follow me and I will lead you. And so when you're a role player or you're a secondary player on this team, you know that LeBron James and Anthony Davis are going to bring it. Your job is to fill in the holes and fill in those gaps.
And we will find out tonight if a championship is going to be awarded or if we're going to a Game 7. It's going to be pretty exciting either way. Back to you, Maria Taylor.
All right, you guys heard RJ say LeBron wants everyone to be relaxed. What do you think he wants from AD, Jalen?
He wants 30 points because if he don't get that number, they're not closing out the series tonight.
Rookie, but averaging 16 points during these NBA Finals. We all grew up with expectations. Maybe yours were to graduate high school or go to college, secure a good job, and provide for your family. For LeBron James, at 16 years old, the expectations were to be the best player coming out of high school, to take the NBA by storm, to become the greatest player to ever play the game, to transcend sport and become a cultural touchstone, and oh yeah, be the kind of man little black boys and girls look up to. On a night where he could become the first player to ever win Finals MVP with 3 different franchises, the Undefeated's Bill Rhoden explores how LeBron has carried those expectations and stopped on or off the court. He started More Than a Vote to combat systematic racist voter suppression by educating, energizing, and protecting the black community in 2020. And as John Lewis said, the vote is...